So guys, the first step for me in learning a new language is by knowing that it's going to take you a lot of time and accepting the language the way it is. You have to accept everything that comes with the language. It's not like your native language or anything like that. And you have to accept it's going to take you a lot of time. You cannot learn a language in a week or in a month. It's going to take you time. And the second tip I'm going to give you guys is that do not be afraid to try out different techniques to learn the new language. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You actually really need to get out of your comfort zone. Like I was learning French and I felt like, okay, I need to learn French where I learned it when I was in school, and I basically memorized the verbs and everything, and it was just really frustrating, honestly. Well, until I started trying different techniques out, like something involving the memory palace, I did that and actually became really good, and I actually got a B1 level of the language really quickly. So you need to try out different things to actually have success, something like that. You just really need to get out of your comfort zone, just try out different techniques. It wouldn't hurt anybody to try out different techniques. So guys, the third advice I'm going to give you is that you need to know it's not all about how smart you are. It's not about your intelligence. It's not about are you so brilliant or not. Anybody can actually learn a language, because I felt like you had to deal with being smart when I started learning a language. And there are many people that told me that, oh, you have to really be smart, you have to have this or that before you can learn a new language. And I actually ended up realizing that it wasn't about how smart you are. Actually, in learning a new language, how smart you are doesn't do anything for you. It could only literally frustrate you. And I'm going to talk to you about that later on. So anyone can learn a new language, because it has to just deal with basically associating things, associating the meaning of things to the actual words in the language, not translating. I'm going to talk to you about that later on in this video also. So guys, you can learn a new language. It doesn't actually matter. You don't have to be so smart. Anybody can learn a new language. That's just really it. You see, if you were able to learn whatever language you actually have learned right now, like for me, English, from when you were a baby, when you were a kid, you can actually also learn a language now, because it kind of just deals with the way you learned the language when you were a kid. That's the kind of method I actually practice. I had something I used something from all that, and try to make my own learning really easy. So it wasn't about me having to be so smart or having to memorize things or cram things, but it was just about me trying to just assess neural pathways in my brain to actually remember things automatically. This advice goes for people that are already learning a new language, and you're about to learn a new language too. You have to stop memorizing and start associating. You just need to stop everything you're doing right now. If you know you're memorizing, if you know you're cramming, just stop all that now. I was actually in that pathway too, and I thought I was going to help myself, but I ended up just getting frustrated, because when you start memorizing things, you're training yourself to forget. Honestly, that's what you're doing, and that's the last thing you need in a new language. When I'm trying to interact with a person in French, because that's the language I actually learned, I don't have the time to actually try to assess the knowledge from my brain, try to remember it, try to what did I memorize. I actually just have to have it in my head. I don't think of the language first in English and translate it to French. So you have to stop memorizing knowledge. That's what you're going to be doing to yourself. Just start associating things. You have to associate things, the object, you associate verbs to the actions, object to their meanings, and that's how you're going to actually end up learning the new language. And I'm going to talk about this more association, as I said already, in another video. What I'm going to give in this video is that you really need to stop translating. If you're already learning a new language, you need to do everything you can to stop translating. It's not going to do you any good. You need to try to think in the language, and all this boils down to association. So just stop translating in the language. Stop it. Just stop. You cannot. I wouldn't want to say she's here in French, elle est ici. And I want to think about she first in English, and translate it to French, then is it doesn't actually make sense. You cannot actually obtain a degree of fluency when you translate word for word. So you need to stop translating and start trying to think in the language. And the only way you can do this is by associating things in the language. You cannot do it by you translating or by you memorizing, but you need to start associating things, and that's how you're gonna actually end up learning the new language. Je m'appelle Jenevieve, je ne sais pas ce que je veux dire maintenant, mais je viens de Nigeria, et le but de ce vidéo, c'est actuellement de donner des conseils aux gens qui veulent apprendre notre langue, comme moi, parce que j'ai appris la langue française.